All right. Testing one, two. What's up, everybody? So it is time to answer the $1,000,000 question. I love this question so much that I decided I was going to make a whole video on it. So here it is. Would you DJ a 4-hour event for $200? Okay. So I thought about this. The immediate quick response, without giving you guys a whole spiel, is yes, of course I would if I could afford to do so. But I can't afford to do so, so I don't. Now, the longer answer is this. If I had $1 billion deposited into my account, not only would you guys see me DJ for $200, you would see me DJ for $0, actually. Now, my question for you guys before I move on to the Joey Lavish response, because that was a Juan Summit response, is if there were to be $1 billion deposited into your account, would you guys still DJ? Now, if the answer is no, then I want you guys to end this video right here and go find that thing that you guys love enough to do regardless of how much money is in your account, okay? For me, I wouldn't be happy with $1 billion in my account without DJing. That's just how I am. This is my purpose. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So there's that part. Now, moving on to the Joey Lavish answer, okay? I wouldn't go out for $200 for 4 hours. Instead, I would find whatever the market rate is for that 4 hours in my city or town, wherever I am, and I would only DJ for that market rate, and I would take that market rate that I earned and I would donate it to the Birthday Wishes Foundation. So for those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's a nonprofit organization that I feel connected to with my heart. And it just puts on and funds birthday parties for homeless children. So I would want to donate to that organization if I had $1 billion. So there's that. Now, moving on to the next thing. Now, I have a $1,000,000 question for you guys. What do you guys think determines your value in the marketplace? Okay. Because I seem to see a lot of these DJs who believe that your value is determined by the rate that you go out for and how accessible you are to certain people, right? And I think it's a crock because this is a skill-based service, which just means that your skills determine your values, right? If I decide I'm going to go out, and I don't know why I would ever, unless I had $1 billion to go out for free, I would make the argument that I am 10 times more valuable than the DJ who just started last week, has no skills, and charges $10,000, okay? I'm going to be more valuable to that client 100% of the time, right? I think what gives us value is our versatility, our knowledge of music theory, song selection, ability to read crowds, show up on time, all these little things that add to our skills and has nothing to do with what we charge. I think that's what adds value to us, okay? And it's the same thing with being accessible to other people. I think the more accessible you are to different types of events makes you a rock star. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think adds value to your DJ business? Let me know in the comments. All right, so moving on to the next topic, Icon Nightclub in downtown Boston, okay? This story came out about a week ago about a woman who collapsed on the dance floor and has since passed away. So I'll read the headline real quick and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So Boston nightclub shuts down after woman collapses and later dies. A nightclub in Boston is shut down while police investigate the death of a woman who collapsed on the dance floor. According to the police report, officers were called to the Icon Club over the weekend where they found the woman on the dance floor not breathing. Police made everyone leave because they said the crowd wasn't following orders to give first responders enough space to do their job, and the party was still going on. The woman later died in the hospital. So first off, rest in peace to that woman. I feel terrible about this situation. I've been asked to DJ this club 3 times in my whole DJ career. And I've always wanted to DJ this club because it's a nice club. And all 3 times that I was asked, the party either got moved to the sister venue, which is actually called Venue, or I just was booked and just wasn't available to do it. But this is a nice club, and my experience with the people that are inside that club and the security is that their main concern is our safety. I've never felt unsafe at Icon or Venue. Some of the security, they can kind of be hard asses, but I don't care if you're a hard ass. If you're a mean security, but you have my safety at heart, and I don't care how nice you are. Now, if I am this woman's family, I would absolutely, undoubtedly sue this nightclub. Okay. Not for the money aspect, but for the change that could come of it. All right. There are certain things that could be done differently to help and assist first responders in situations like this. Okay. For one, it was brought to my attention through anonymous sources that the DJ shut the music off for a couple minutes, but then resumed the party shortly after. In the couple times that I've been in this scenario, I have never done that. So this screams rookie, newer DJ that does not know what they're doing. But also there's a lot of chaos in these situations, so I empathize. And the other thing too is I don't think the DJ could have done anything differently that would have changed the outcome. So let me first start there. But I will also say this. First responders shouldn't have to be yelling over Cardi B or Drake while rendering first aid. That's not fair to the first responders, and it's sure as shit not fair to the person who's fighting for their lives, okay? So music needs to be done from the moment the emergency happens till the time that the person gets taken out of the club. Another thing too, I wasn't there, so I don't know if this happened, but lighting technicians with one click of a button can white out an entire nightclub room. Okay, I know this club and I know venue. I've seen it happen. They just one click of a button, the overhead lights are on. All right, so those two things, I feel like that would help, and I think that bar managers and club owners should practice stuff like this. Okay, because in a scenario where time is crucial, these things could help first responders. You know. I actually had a medical emergency happen to me over the summer. Not me personally, but with somebody who was at a party that I was DJing. I was just mixing and I had my speaker, it was to the right of me, but it was obstructing my view of where this was happening. So I'm DJing and I think I was hosting like musical chairs or something like that. And I see this guy approach the DJ booth and he has one of those radios strapped across his chest. And it was like clearly a first responder or like a paramedic. And he goes, "Hey, can you lower the music?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "There's a medical emergency happening right over there." So I lean over my DJ booth past the speaker and I see like 2 firefighters, 3 police officers, and a bunch of paramedics like tending to this woman. And I'm like, "Oh shoot, like I didn't see that." So I shut off the music. I was like, "No problem." And I felt a little embarrassed because I didn't see it. But as soon as I see stuff like that, music gets cut off. That's the first thing. I'm like, you guys need to do your thing. You guys need to be able to communicate effectively. And I don't think it's fair to blast music over what you guys are doing. So the music stayed off until that woman got carried out in a stretcher. And I'm pretty sure she's doing well now. But another incident happened back on September 8th, 2018. I was DJing a boat cruise. I had sold probably like 100 tickets to my closest friends and family. So this was very traumatic. But I had them all come onto this boat cruise and I was DJing the middle deck because this boat had a top deck, middle deck, and a lower deck. But I think there was only DJs on the middle and upper decks. But anyways, I was a middle deck DJ and I had a good slot towards the end of the night. And maybe an hour into this cruise, you know, I'm kind of just like doing some mic work and I'm like, "Everybody put your hands up in the air." Yeah. And then all of a sudden I look behind me in the staircase that leads to the top deck. I see my good friend who's now a DJ, which is awesome. But at the time he was a promoter. He comes down the stairs and this is Zazu, by the way. And he goes, "Joey, you got to shut the music off because somebody's overboard." And I'm like, "Oh, shoot." So I get on the microphone, I said, and killed the music. I said, "Hey guys, it was just brought to my attention that somebody is overboard. Keep your eyes out for this person. We're going to get him back on the boat and then we're going to resume the party," right? Music went off, never came back on. And I remember when the boat had this guy in the spotlight, this is the boat, okay? When the boat put the spotlight on over here, everybody went from this side of the ship to this side of the ship. The whole ship did one of these, okay? They scared the crap out of me. But it was traumatic for like a lot of my friends and family. And they saw this guy, one moment he was with us, the next moment he was under and nobody saw him again. And that was very tragic. That was a very sad day. And I know from that, being a DJ on that boat, there was a lot of panic and chaos, and time moved differently. And then you kind of go home and you think, what could I have done that was differently that may have changed the outcome? And that's why I say, in situations like this, time moves very differently. Okay. And chaos, unless you train for it, there really is no telling how the scenario is going to go. And that's why I say, for this young DJ, or maybe he was a veteran DJ, I don't know who he was, but if you're watching this, I hope that you heal from this and learn from it